How do you build the world's largest democracy from scratch? It didn't happen overnight. It was a 70-year journey to demand, design, and assemble the foundational architecture of the Indian Constitution. Let's look at the blueprint of how a republic was born. The foundation was laid step by step. It began as early as 1895, when Bal Gangadhar Tilak issued the very first demand for self-governance. By 1922, Mahatma Gandhi asserted that India's destiny must be shaped by an assembly of its own people. Through the late 1920s, the Swaraj Party in the Nehru Committee formalized these demands. Then came the turning point. In 1934, thinker M.N. Roy proposed the radical idea of a dedicated constituent assembly, a demand officially adopted by the Congress in 1935. By 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru demanded that this assembly be elected democratically, via universal adult franchise. As pressure mounted, the British colonial government finally began to yield, throwing tentative bridges across the political chasm. First came the August offer of 1940, followed by the Cripps Mission in 1942. But the real breakthrough arrived with the Cabinet Mission of 1946, which finally laid down the framework to assemble India's constitutional builders. Before a single law was written, the assembly needed a guiding philosophy. On December 13, 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru introduced the historic, objective resolution, which was unanimously passed in January 1947. Its declaration was clear. India would be an independent sovereign republic, built firmly on the pillars of social, economic, and political justice, equality of status and opportunity, freedom of expression and faith, and robust safeguards for minorities, depressed classes, and tribal areas. But how was this assembly chosen? To ensure true democratic weight, a meticulous blueprint of representation was mapped out. Every single member of the Constituent Assembly represented roughly 1 million citizens. Members of the provincial legislatures voted using a system of proportional representation via a single transferable vote. Seats were carefully allocated across demographic categories to maintain balance: 210 general seats, 78 seats for the Muslim community, and 4 seats for the Sikh community. With the seats allocated, the political landscape of the assembly took shape. The Indian National Congress held a dominant majority of 208 seats, while 73 seats belonged to the Muslim League, who ultimately chose to boycott the proceedings. But this wasn't just a chamber of career politicians. It was an extraordinary gathering of diverse minds, including 15 trailblazing female members who helped shape the nation's foundational laws. Interestingly, the two towering political giants of the era, Mahatma Gandhi and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, did not contest seats at all, while key leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan and Tej Bahadur Saprao resigned, leaving the floor to a specialized body of dedicated legal and constitutional builders. Originally, in 1946, the assembly was designed for a united India, featuring 389 total members, comprising 296 from British India and 93 from the princely states. However, history shifted. The withdrawal of the Muslim League and the tragic partition of the subcontinent physically reshaped the bounds of the assembly. By 1947, the remaining body was concentrated down to 299 dedicated builders, with 229 from British Indian provinces and 70 representing the princely states. With the passage of the Indian Independence Act, the assembly underwent a dramatic evolution. It shed all British-imposed limitations to become a fully sovereign entity operating in two distinct, powerful capacities. When it met to frame the constitution, it acted as a constituent body, presided over by its permanent chairman, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. But when it met to enact ordinary laws for the country, it functioned as India's very first parliament, presided over by Speaker G.V. Mavalankar. To manage this monumental task, specialized committees divided the labor. Dr. Rajendra Prasad headed the Rules and Steering Committees. Sardar Patel spearheaded the Provincial Constitution and Advisory Committees. Jawaharlal Nehru masterminded the Union Powers and Union Constitution Committees. All of their research, along with a deep dive synthesis of 60 global constitutions, funneled directly into the vital core of the operation, the Drafting Committee. This elite committee was anchored by the constitutional advisor, Sir B.N. Rao, who meticulously prepared the initial first draft. Taking that canvas, the legendary Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, serving as chairman of the drafting committee, steered the final design. Alongside him stood a brilliant legal team, N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar, Alladi Krishnaswamy Ayer, Muhammad Sadullah, K. M. Munshi, N. Madhava Rao, who replaced B. L. Mitter, and T. T. Krishnamachari, who replaced the late D. P. Khetan. The draft document was then subjected to the ultimate test of democratic fire across 3 rigorous readings. The first reading, in November 1948, introduced the text for general discussion. The second reading was an epic test of endurance, running from November 1948 to October 1949, featuring a line-by-line, clause-by-clause scrutiny and intense debate over thousands of amendments. Finally, the third reading in November 1949 brought the formal review to a close, cementing the final text. On November 26, 1949, the people of India officially adopted and enacted their constitution. To stabilize the newly independent state, 15 critical articles, governing citizenship, elections, the presidential oath, and the interim government, came into force immediately. The rest of the magnificent document waited just a little longer, coming into full enforcement on January 26, 1950, a day forever celebrated as Republic Day. To give this legal marvel a soul, the master calligrapher Prem Bihari Naren Raizada beautifully handwritten the original text, stamped with the official elephant seal of the Assembly. In total, it took an immense chronological investment of 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days, spanning 11 rigorous sessions. 299 architects successfully navigated the vast complexities of a multi-religious, multilingual subcontinent through the art of patient compromise. They evolved a colonial recommendation into a fiercely sovereign, self-determining reality. This meticulous blueprint successfully forged an unshakable foundation, translating a century of scattered dreams into a unified, eternal, and sovereign democratic republic. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment if you enjoyed this quick revision.